Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to the second plenary sessions that is on closing the loop of the textile waste. And we have very distinguished line of panelists to discuss on this topic. We have among us Mr. Akhter Hossain Apurbo, Vice President BKMEA, Dr. Praktik Schröder, Senior Research Fellow Chatham House, Mr. Mohammed Sohel Sadat, Chairman Shin Group and Director BGMEA, Mr. Asif Zahir, Deputy Managing Director Ananta Group, and Mr. Micke Magnusson, Entrepreneur in Residence Enviu, have joined us virtually. So Micke, can you hear us?
Yep.
Oh, thank you, great. So to give you a short brief on the background of the plenary sessions, Bangladesh apparel industry generates around 4 million tons of textile waste annually. Globally, less than 1% of clothing materials are recycled into new garments, and Bangladesh likely mirrors this trend, with most of its textile waste being exported to East Asian countries for recycling. This practice contributes substantial carbon emissions for transportation, undermining the environmental benefits of recycling. So the solution lies in closing the loop within the Bangladesh borders by developing a localized circular economy. So we would like to discuss on this important topic. First, I would like to move towards Patrick. And my questions to you, Mr. Patrick Schröder, is Chatham House has been at the forefront of analyzing global policy trends. How do you see the Use Digital Product Passport initiative reshaping global textile trend? And what specific challenges and opportunities does it present for major exporters like Bangladesh, if you kindly share your opinion?
This one's working. Yes. Great. Thank you for inviting me to join the panel. Salam alaikum, everybody. It's great to be in Bangladesh, great to be in Dhaka again. So on your question about the digital product passport, so this is a new tool that will be key for traceability of textiles across the value chain. So digital product passports are now being in development. So it's a new area, not only for textiles, but for other product categories as well. For batteries, for example, it's beginning to be used. And for textiles, this is a new approach to collect the information about products across the whole life cycle, from sourcing raw materials towards the end of life of disposal, and also information about material loops within this circular system. So, as I said, it's new, and that's actually already, it's still very new for Europeans as well. Just in March this year, the European Parliamentary Research Service published a quite detailed technical paper on digital product passports for the textile and footwear sectors. And in that paper, you can find that online, they distinguish actually 3 layers or phases of development of this digital product passport. And the first phase of development is anticipated to start in 2027. And so that will require some data on the supply side. So that means it will also be relevant for Bangladesh manufacturers and suppliers. Then there's a medium term up to 2030, or like from 2030 onwards, and then a long term from 2033. The idea is to have a full circular digital product passport from then. So it's a 10-year process in a way that's starting now.
Patrick, the supplementary questions that given the complexity of the textile supply chains, particularly in tracing recycled content, what government's frameworks or international collaboration would you recommend to ensure closing the loop of textile waste in Bangladesh. So we would like to hear from this because you have also studied this in your recent survey, case study.
Yeah, so I think that one of the main aspects of how to do this, it connects to the previous session as well. So we need to collect a lot of data, including on, for example, the jute sector. So it requires a lot of research and understand how materials flow. So some of the kind of data that will be required goes into quite some granularity. And in terms of international cooperation, there's already examples by the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe. They've done quite a bit of work on these digital product passports and traceability with producer countries in Central Asia who are mostly involved in the cotton sector, cotton production. And these types of corporations can also be then used, for example, for Bangladesh, looking more midstream on the processing and manufacture. So there's also cooperation examples that we can also follow.
Thank you for valuable insight. So I would like to move to Micke Magnusson, entrepreneur in residence Enviu. So Micke, you actually part of the Recycle Exchange Limited, a model textile sorting center in Bangladesh. So we'd like to know your experience in the sorting. Do you see any challenges? If yes, what are they? Kindly share.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Okay. Yeah, I think that the one thing that is important here, and I think it's important to recognize for everybody, is that we are building a new kind of part of the sector here. If we're going to have a closed loop in Bangladesh, many initiatives are needed. Like you said, most of the output today is being exported. So it starts with sorting, collecting feedstock, usable feedstock, and that access to the robust feedstock is absolutely important. Connected to this is, of course, not only traceability, etc., which are very nice to have, but we also need to have formal transactions and formal companies to collaborate with each other. Technically, the challenges are reliability on the content. We know that 100% cotton on the bill of lading doesn't necessarily mean that it's 100% cotton in the material, and only small percentages of contaminations like elastan, etc., has big impact on what can be recycled fiber to fiber. So the challenges are both upstream and downstream. There's plenty of technologies available and ready to be adopted in the country for sorting technologies, etc. However, the business case needs to be proven before real investments can be made. And that's what we're trying to do with the Recycle Exchange.
Okay, Micke, for then the questions to you. For closing the loop of textile waste in Bangladesh, what are the imperatives in your opinion?
Yeah, and I will come back to this. This is we have to recognize this as a new tier or a new part of the sector in Bangladesh. So there's a massive opportunity for becoming less dependent of imports and taking care of this, but that would mean big investments in T1s and T2s, spinning, weaving, knitting, because there's undercapacity at this point of time. And a small part of that is the providing fibers into the spinners and knitters so that the fabrics can be used, and that's what we're trying to do. Now, the imperatives are very simple here. We have to start very basic. We need to support formal players where fair jobs, traceability and transparency is available, and only formal sector will be able to promote circularity as a real advantage for the entire sector. metaphor. So the entire industry needs to be formalized. Access to data, etc., etc. It's a given that there is no other way. And the second one is that we need to support local initiatives for any type of recycling. We can work with cotton, and cotton has been widely adopted already. But we're not working with only cotton in Bangladesh. We're working with many different textile and raw materials. And third, we need to help and support to onshore technologies needed that are relevant for the Bangladeshi business. That's the only way for us to drive quality, efficiency, and to widen the uptake.
Thank you, Micke. Please stay connected with us. And now I would like to move to Mr. Sohel Sadat, Chairman Shin Group and Director BGMEA. So BGMEA's role is very important since BGMEA is the apex trade body of the export-oriented apparel factories in Bangladesh. So my first questions to you is, what's currently BGMEA is doing in promoting circular fashion? If you like, if you kindly share with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, moderator. And I would like to thank Mr. Mustafiz, founder and CEO of Bangladesh Apparel Exchange, for his sustainable development work for Bangladesh apparel industry. And BGMEA is pursuing circularity in the RMG sector in Bangladesh, particularly in the pre-consumer waste recycling. Aligning the stakeholders, including brands and retailers and waste handlers, to facilitate initial engagement among the partners in the supply chain and create an enabling policy environment for circular fashion. Besides this, BGMEA, Reverse Resources, GFA, Bestseller, Circular Economy, and H&M is implementing a project titled Switch to Circular Economy Value Chains, Switch to CE. BGMEA is also implementing circular economy in Bangladesh Garments Industry Create project. H&M Group and BGMEA are collaborating on building a climate neutral and circular garment sector in Bangladesh. But I think circular fashion is at the beginning stage. We have to work hard. There are a lot of challenges in different segments, collecting it, sorting it out, and really making it meaningful. We have two ways. One way is really making it useful from the practical ground. Another one is the paperwork. So the traceability should be there, and it's a big challenge. Like from the BGME also, Responsible Hub is trying to consolidate all the data. Then we have to go for the data validation. Then we have to circular or share this among the stakeholders. This is a pretty big task. We have just started. I hope that like BGME can really step in, and then BGME can really contribute a lot in this particular segment.
Okay,
but we have to work together.
Okay,
thank
so
you
sorry
very
for
much.
interrupting. I would just like to know a bit more about, thank you for sharing some of the encouraging initiatives already BGME taking. So if you also share that, is there any steps, or what are the steps BGME taking to map and digitalize this waste flow? Is there any initiative to, or how can you ensure that every scrap from the factory is traced and map of the waste? Do you have any initiatives from the BGME, or how do you think about mapping and digitalizing the waste flow from the factories?
I would like to come from the earlier speaker, Plenary speaker from the Prague University, which was actually thoughtful and meaningful. And BGMEA, yes, like at this moment with the technical support from GIZ, have established a unit called RBH unit and under the Future Center, both Dhaka and Chittagong. Purpose of this unit to provide hands-on support to BGMEA members factories regarding the due diligence directive and create a readiness throughout the industry. BGMEA has also established ESG digital data disclosure platform with support to the GIZ. Currently, through the digital data, we are collecting ESG, environment, social, governance related data of the factories. The platform is now in test run. As I said, it will be challenging because we are just starting, and it is the first step, and we have to go for the validation. Then we have to see data disclosure, how we can do it mutually. And the last one is like, I think digital platform is fully operational, will take some time. We may integrate the circularity data of the factories with the platform too, including mapping the waste flow of the BGMEA member factories. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Now I would like to move to Mr. Akhter Apurbo, Vice President of BKMEA. So in textile recycling, so far, cotton knit are largely being used by recyclers. The EU legislation like the digital passport will be mandatory from 2027. Do you think knit manufacturers of Bangladesh could design products that are not only recyclable, but also allow for clear tracking of recycled content? So over to you.
Very good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank Mr. Mustafiz and Bangladesh Apparel Association for organizing such an interesting and very time-demanded summit on circular economy. I'm representing Bangladesh Knitwear Manufacturers and Exporters Association. I'm Vice President of that organization, and we are actually the #1 contributor in cotton products export to our export destinations. We are doing mostly using the cotton export, cotton product. Currently, we are doing non-cotton as well. You're asking for the traceability and is this possible or not? First of all, I would like to say some points here to raise that closing the loop within Bangladesh border by developing localized circular economy. Yeah, we need to close the loop because in every year you mentioned that a lot of jute and waste products are exporting from Bangladesh to South Asia and other countries. They are actually processing that and preparing the yarn again, and we are importing, and again using that yarn we are exporting. So that actually indirectly impact on the environment because every year a huge number of waste, cotton waste is exporting through the sea, and the vessels are using the fossil fuel, which actually created emission and contributed in the environment negatively. So definitely there is opportunity in Bangladesh to keep these goods here, recycle, and produce here and export using that product, which positively impact in the environment. Very recently, from various forums, especially the European countries are trying to impose that whatever the end product we are selling to them, they want that product at the end of their life cycles, they would like to send it back to Bangladesh for processing here. And in my understanding, these will actually again negatively impact on the environment as well, because using this large amount of end product, that life cycle has already expired, if you send it back to Bangladesh, you have to use the sea channel using the vessels, and that will negatively impact again in the environment. Rather, what we propose, you do processing, collecting, processing, and make it fiber at your country or yarn, and then send it back to Bangladesh. It will contribute less negative contribution in the environment. Or if you think that you can sue this one more in your country as well, we will appreciate this one, because you can do this one in your country. This will negatively impact, this will reduce the environmental impact. Recently, the European Union digital product passport, what you are talking about, this is a very good initiative, but you are telling here that by 2027, this would be a mandatory for Bangladesh or the other all sourcing countries that European Union is sourcing their products from. But so far, I understand it will take longer. But this initiative is definitely good, definitely positive, and I appreciate this one. If you are thinking about the total jute waste or textile waste that we are contributing in our country, the percentage is around below 15%. So the 85% is in the destination countries. And I would like to request all the destinations countries and the buyers that please do this treatment, recycle this treatment in your destination country, and then send it back now. We will buy this one, the yarn from you, and we'll produce and resend again. It will help us, the entire globe, at a big contribution in positively in the environment. And the rest of 15%, we are doing. Although it's an informal sector, but these are more organized. Very recently, in our last session, we came to know from the BRAC University, they had research work, and they found that most of the clusters in Narayanganj, Dhaka, Mirpur, Gazipur, and Pabna, they are, although informal sector, but they are organized. Each and every single waste they are collecting, they are identifying, separating, organizing, and they are selling it to either in recycle unit in Bangladesh or locally use these products, or else they are exporting. There is opportunity. We can more and more produce here. We can do the trace of the each and every single waste that are going from our factories. And from my perspective, from BKMEA perspective, I can say that this product is recyclable and also clearly tracking is possible, because whatever we are selling, the waste or giving to the local Muslims or whatever you are talking about, we are giving to them, they are collecting this one, the informal sector is separating, collecting everything. So we have the trace. But we have to keep in mind that this informal sector, to formalize this one, there is a need of government support as well. If we can do this one, because most of our factory members actually giving this jute and other wastage to the local people, local Muslims, to protect them from others. This is the reality. And if we want to stop them, stop them collecting the goods from our factories, then our factories will be in threat. Not only in our factories, also the lot 40 million of workers actually who are working here in these factories, their livelihood will be under threat as well. So you have to keep in mind that one. Thank you.
Yes, so one more supplementary question. Yes, we know that we cannot ignore the informal sector. They're playing a very important role in collecting waste. But my questions to you, what strategies is BKMEA considering to integrate these informal actors into a transparent and traceable recycling chain?
Obviously, BKMEA has a great role here to play, because BKMEA knows all its member factories, owners, and entrepreneurs. So what we can do, we want actually a localized method of collecting the products using the informal sector. If we get the support from the government and other brand and buyers and developing agencies, then we can work jointly. We can bring them. We cannot avoid them. We can incorporate the informal owner, actually, those who are working here. We can incorporate in a formal ways because they all are having their own trade license. It's easy to trace them. So we can incorporate this one. But I would like to raise a concern here because in the name of circularity, in the name of recycle, we, the owner, don't want to be again put in a trap of certifications. You know, we are under a lot of certifications we are doing. Now, if you are talking about Oikotex, the Oikotex certification, the certification can be done in Bangladesh. The other certification also can be done in Bangladesh through a local bodies. But most of you are talking about that these bodies are not transparent. They will be violate the rules and they will issue the certificate. But can you think about the current time, the industries, actually the RMG industries, the entrepreneurs, myself is an entrepreneur. If I will think that after getting the Oikotex certificate, during the certification, I have submitted a few documents and products that are certified by them, and then we get the certificate. In the meantime, within a year, we are producing, but the certification bodies are not coming here and checking each and every single product that we are following the same thing or not. But we do by ourselves because we know that if we will violate any rules and regulations, any certification criteria, then our buyer will be negatively impacted and ultimately we will lose the buyer. So it's a self-understanding from each and every single factory owners. So if we do the same certification using our local bodies in Bangladesh, then we can keep a lot of US dollars in our country, which ultimately will help our economy and grow it. So I'm just finishing. Give me a second. I will request in the name of recycling and recycle earn, I don't want to see any certification bodies which actually impose from other countries. If there is any certification bodies needed, that could be done from Bangladesh, and trace is possible because we are doing the traceability. If it is traceable, if these raw materials or waste is traceable and going to the spinning mills, then we can easily get that these are who actually, from which factories these goods are coming from. So certification is very easy here. So I will humbly request everyone to consider this one. This is very important, and BKMEA as a trade body, apex body for knitwear manufacturers, who actually contributed 55% of our export earnings from RMG sectors. We will assure you that we will help you, we will be aside you and support you whatever the requirement is. We are now planning to work in a way so that our local economy will get the full benefit of these recycled products. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for raising very important points. Now I would like to move towards Asif Zahir, Deputy Managing Director, Ananta Group. And the important questions I would like to ask you that how brands and manufacturers could collaborate for promoting textile recycling. So if you kindly share your insights.
Yeah, hello everyone. First of all, thank you to Bangladesh Apparel Exchange for organizing today's event. I think it's a very important topic, and we are already seeing kind of the movement towards this circular economy, mainly in the European Union, but also in the other Western markets. So, as you said, the brands are already kind of looking at this. It's going to happen by 2027 onwards. So we have to start getting ready now, actually. So what we see is a lot of the brands are actually saying that we need, say, up to 30% recycled cotton. Actually, Inditex has already started this. They're one of the biggest brands in Bangladesh. And actually, whatever cotton they're buying, especially on the knits, they're saying we need 30% recycled. Now, within the recycle, there's a pre-consumer and post-consumer, of course. So since we are a production country, we are looking at the pre-consumer waste. There's a lot of waste in the spinning process, the knitting, weaving process, and then in the garment process. So if you look at the total waste, it's quite significant. Anywhere from 15 to 20% of the total consumption is actually being wasted during the production process. If you look at how much cotton we're importing, I think it's somewhere almost 8 billion plus raw cotton we're importing into Bangladesh. And then we're also importing quite a bit of finished yarn from outside. So I think the figure that we saw earlier is about 400 million of the waste is being exported out. So if you do the math, maybe 800 million, $1 billion is there actually. If we can just kind of recycle this, we can save the foreign currency and we can keep this money within Bangladesh, right? Within the ecosystem, whoever it is, the spinning, the weaving, knitting, or the garments. And that's the saving we can get as a country, that this 800 million, 1 billion, we don't have to pay every year to the cotton producing countries, actually. So that's the immediate opportunity. And I think technically it's already proven, it's mechanical recycling. It already works. It's cheap. It's kind of, you know, the quality is quite reasonable. If you go up to say 30% or even up to 50%, it's acceptable quality. So what we need is we need to be able to collect all the waste. So this we already talked about, the, you know, the jute collection. Actually from Ananta, we are already working with reverse resources. So they're having a scheme where, you know, you have the website, you can upload exactly what waste, you know, we are producing. They're actually giving the training to the factories on how to, you know, collect the waste and segregate. Is it with elastin? Is it, you know, different colors? Is it a cotton poly mix? So, you know, different buckets for the different waste. So that training has to be given to the factories at the cutting department. And then it has to be properly segregated and then, you know, kind of collected. So it's more of a organizing problem, right? So from the cutting floor all the way to the collection, it has to be organized properly. That data has to be kind of uploaded to a digital platform. And we don't necessarily need third-party certificates. As Mr. Akhter said, we don't need Ocotex or things like that. We just need to have a proper organizing kind of bandwidth to be able to take the waste, collect it, and then take it back to the recycling. And of course, you know, we are already selling this jute to the local players for, you know, not a lot of money. But the idea is that, you know, someone should pay the factories. So if it's reverse resources or whoever is organizing this, they should definitely pay a better than average market price than what the normal jute collectors are paying. So if the payment is there, then the factories will also definitely, you know, put in the effort to organize and, you know, send out the waste, because that's a good earning that's coming in. So that's one problem, is organizing and collecting and kind of taking it back. The second problem is we don't actually have enough recycling plants in Bangladesh. So again, I think the best people who can set up these plants are the spinning mills. It's quite in line with their, you know, kind of expertise. And some of the mills are already doing that. The large players are already doing, but anyone can set up actually. It doesn't have to be the spinning. It can be the fabric or the garment players also. You need the land, you need the, you know, kind of the electricity connection. All of those things are there, of course. But if people are investing in the mechanical recycling, then that opportunity is there. And again, it's a $1 billion market that's available right now. So anyone can invest. Definitely the spinning mills have the advantage, but any other player can invest. And then we also had the speakers, the directors of BGMEA, BKMEA. So they can also kind of organize. It doesn't have to be reverse resources only. It can be multiple platforms can be there. So BGMEA can have a platform, BKMEA can have a platform, BEBZA can have a platform for all the EPZ factories. So, you know, and then whoever's offering the best rate can sign up with the factories, right? So you can have different platforms. And then end user would be the recycling plant. So that also different people can invest. And then it's easily possible to kind of recover this $1 billion in foreign currency. On the post-consumer, I think it will take time. I think it's not really our problem at the moment, because that's a problem that Europe will have to face. It's their waste, and most likely they can set up the factories like RenewCell and, you know, other factories like that. Those factories are also not cheap. There's, you know, 500 million, $1 billion investment. They need a lot of electricity. They need steam. They need ETP. So that's a problem that they have to solve, and I think big brands like H&M and Inditex are investing. When they solve that problem, we can always buy the yarn. So that's a problem we'll get to in 5 years or something like that. But today, let's focus on our own waste, which is the pre-consumer waste, and that's an opportunity that we can easily organize and capture within the next 1 or 2 years. We can solve this problem.
Yeah. So one supplementary question. So you very rightly mentioned there are very few recycle plants in Bangladesh. And for closing the loop, I mean, where we have in Bangladesh around 4 million tons of textile waste generated per year, we may probably need 100 more recycling plants. So my questions to you that, do you think big apparel companies like the Ananta Group could also invest in setting up recycling plants in the country? In doing that, what are the challenges you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can, as Ananta Group, we are mainly a garment manufacturer, and we are looking at, is it an earthquake?
I think there are some constructions work in the airport
it's actually
area.
not an earthquake. There's a construction going on the roads underground.
Okay, so it's not an earthquake.
The tremor is from there.
So it's not earthquake.
Okay. Yeah, so I think the opportunity is there. We are looking into kind of investing in this mechanical recycling. But as I said, I think the people who can immediately invest are the spinning mills, because that's kind of more similar to what they're doing, and they're selling the yarn anyways. So they're the best people to invest. But yeah, I mean, as Ananta, as a garment manufacturer, we can also look at investing. I think no one will invest, in a huge way. They will only get, say, one machine or one line, and then see the result, and then slowly, build up. So it takes some time. I think some of the big groups have already kind of set up, 1 or 2 lines. Maybe one line can do 2 tons or 5 tons, something like that. And if it's successful, then it will expand. So we are looking at that in kind of investment, but then also you need land, you need, the usual problem, electricity connection and things like that. But I think the opportunity is there, and definitely a lot of the groups are considering the mechanical recycling.
Thank you so much, Mr. Asif Zahir, and thank you, distinguished. So I think Mr. Akhter or Apurbo, you like to add something?
Yeah, can I ask one question to you, because you're telling that there is no required for certification now, but I'm talking about the future. If you are talking about transparency and traceability, who actually, if you are producing a yarn using recycled yarn, then supplier or buyer will in future ask you, how can you trace this one? How can you confirm that this waste is actually collecting from which factory, in which buyer? Because traceability is actually linking with the buyers. Because buyers are placing orders. In my factories, there are 10 buyers. I'm producing for 10 buyers, 10 different products. And after that, I will have different 10 categories of waste. So I have to inform them, these are the waste I'm actually dispersing to that formal sector or informal, whatever it is, the tracing. Then you are collecting this one, producing. And do you think there will be no question that in future that how can you certify this waste is coming from your factory? I think there will be. There will be. And for your kind information, another thing, very recently in our ministries, especially the Commerce Ministry, a lot of pressure was given from other countries to open the duty-free import of end product of a textile, like whatever your products are, you can import this one without any duty. So who actually are pressuring to open up this one? Because if we will open up this one, there will be a huge pressure of waste coming from the developed countries, who actually the user, and it will be a burden for us very soon. So this is not a matter of 5 years or 6 years. This is a matter of current situation. That's why I was actually informing you that we have to be very cautious about taking decisions, because in future, let us do first with the 15% that or 20%, whatever the amount is, what we are doing the waste locally for producing your garment. But we are not going to take any liability now, what you have taken to your end. If you want to do recycle, do it in your country, then we source the buyer and sell it. If this is cost competitive and you are willing to pay more for whatever the cost is, the buyer are willing to pay us, we will import and we will sell. That's actually my position. Thank you.
So I think we have another dedicated panel discussions later in the afternoon on the traceability and transparency issues. So there will be also discussing these concerns. And I think that will be also very interesting sessions. Thank you so much for your valuable time and insights. So I would request you all to kindly stand up for a group photo. And thank you also the audience for your kind attentions.